Does this guy look intimidating? Well, how about now? We have a new rogue skill in Diablo 4 and it's called Dance of Knives. It's the first channeling skill for the rogues. It's essentially the barbarian whirlwind, except it's got some range to it. And you would think it kind of sucks for single target, but it actually automatically targets any enemy near you. So if you only have one target, every knife will fly towards it. Now, some really interesting snapshots actually make this skill surprisingly strong. I thought it would just be kind of a meme build at first, but no. By using concealment before we start channeling, every single knife we're throwing crits and applies vulnerable. And the damage from the synergy aspect applies to the full duration of us channeling. Huge multiplier right there. But for some reason, this skill does not work with the blood boiling aspect. I think this is a bug, and when Blizzard fixes it, it's gonna get even stronger. I mean, we're gonna be overpowering, critical striking, everything. Oh, and if we imbue Dance of Knives, it actually keeps the imbuement for the entire duration of our channel as well. And the new Star Shards aspect launches additional knives everywhere, and those get the imbuement as well. So you can essentially freeze your whole screen with cold imbuement or explode things even off your screen with shadow imbuement. And there are a few things that don't actually cancel the Dance of Knives channeling. Like if you have Dark Shroud on your skill bar, you can actually click it during your dance moves and you just keep going. You can also, of course, use potions, which is huge because thanks to the unstable elixir passive, every time you use a potion, you actually stun everything around you. So as you're sliding into a group of demons, you pop a potion, you deal more damage and stun everything. I mean, come on. But sadly, essentially everything else, all other skills will cancel your channeling, including opening certain doors in dungeons. But good thing in like the pit or hell tides, there are no doors. Funnily enough, you can also tap this skill instead of holding the button down. And this way, you won't lose any charges currently in the PTR. Seems like it's a bug, but at the same time, it doesn't actually make you attack any faster, and it hurts your hand. It will remove your imbuement charges, and by doing this you can't actually snapshot anything that I mentioned earlier, so you definitely want to channel this skill. You should know that attack speed matters a lot for this skill. Here's an example of me having 0% attack speed, and then I also tried it with 100% attack speed, and you can just see the contrast and the difference. And now just imagine having 200% attack speed and 100% chance to cast twice tempered on your weapons. I mean, we're talking like 20 knives a second. The entire screen is going to be covered in daggers. I don't know about you, but I see potential. If you made it this far in the video, I've got some bonus notes for you. I was able to channel the skill for like 45 seconds, having maximum movement speed and using combo points with the aspect. There were also a few aspects I thought were really interesting with this build. For example, you can create a bunch of potions to be able to use unstable elixir all the time. If you're using shadow imbuement, you can put on the icy alchemist aspect, and you not only do crazy AoE damage, but you also freeze the entire screen at the same time. I made an interesting discovery with Inner Calm. On paper, it doesn't make sense to use Inner Calm because we're never standing still, right? We're constantly moving, spinning around. But if you channel Dance of Knives into a corner, the game thinks you're actually standing still, and you will get the triple bonus from Inner Calm. Could be potentially useful at a boss or something. Sadly, the Undying aspect does not work well with this skill because once we're channeling, it only counts as one skill usage. But you know, you can kind of spam click the skill and you generate more life, but it's just not worth it. So in summary, after a couple hours of playing with this new skill and its potential, first of all, the footage you've seen in this video is of a level 30 character that's leveling. I think at the high end for speed farming, it's gonna be insane. And if you look at the pros of this build, it's just fun. It's new. It's completely different to everything else on the rogue. Like you hold down one button and that's it. It's not even like the Heartseeker rogue where you just have to click one button. With this build, you're literally just holding a button down, playing with one hand. You could be eating a sandwich with your other hand if you want. In terms of the cons of this new skill and build, at least the version that I have kind of theory crafted, is that there's no real way of spending or utilizing the energy, or even taking advantage of an ultimate. Yes, you can throw it on there, but you can't really reset the cooldown to make the most of it. And it's even hard to make use of the 6 skill slots effectively. I suggest throwing on Caltrops for bosses and even Shadow Step just for an extra source of unstoppable. And finally, you can't really use Dance of Knives effectively as a support or a secondary skill. Like it doesn't really have much utility, so it's either gonna be your main damage source or not used at all, which is a little sad because I like skills that can kind of be utilized in a bunch of different builds. I'm very excited to build an endgame version of this on Friday in the endgame PTR. If you don't want to miss it, make sure you subscribe and I'll see you in my next video.